Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me again today. Being vegan. What does being vegan mean to me exactly? You know, I talk mostly about the food, and if I was truthful, as I've told you before, I got into this for the health reasons. But pretty much simultaneously I started looking into the animal rights aspect of it, and you know, I started watching videos and getting knowledge on both sides of the coin. Well, I wouldn't say those are two sides of a coin, but from both aspects. You know, I never did watch Earthlings, and this is, I hope, you know, if there's any new people out there that are on the fence of maybe like being interested in veganism, you got to watch Earthlings. I mean, you know, I had already committed to being vegan before I had found out about the movie Earthlings, and I watched about 10 minutes. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch any further beyond that because I just kind of was like, ooh, I don't want to watch this, and I don't feel like I have an obligation to, since I'm not going to consume animal products anymore. But I would say for anybody that's still consuming animal products or plans on it, at least watch this. At least know where your food's coming, you know what's going on with it, know it's not these happy little animals living on pretty farms out in the countryside and then just going to their happy mellow death. I ain't like that. Another good one I'd like to see is this one everybody's talking about, cowspiracy. It seems to be a little bit more of how us producing animal products is affecting the planet. So I don't know, I think about these things, especially at night. Sometimes I just lay around and kind of just let my mind free flow, and I think about the different aspects, you know, the different aspects of like veganism for the animals, veganism for the planet, and veganism for our individual health. Well, even though I'm not consuming animals, no matter what my intent or my philosophy is, I try to keep that in that order for me. You know, for the animals first, for the planet second, and then to not be so selfish for my personal health third. Do I always do that? Can I say 100% of the time that I'm not a little bit more interested in what have you done for me lately, raw veganism or veganism? No, but I try to keep those ideals in mind. I was watching a good talk last night, and you know, I mentioned a while back about being the obnoxious raw vegan, or actually that was yesterday. I lose track, it was either the last video or the one before, but you know, I got thinking about it, and I got some interesting comments on there, some very insightful comments. You know, that's what I like about my channel so far. I dread the day when those trolls start making it in. Even people that have on my channel that have argue with my opinion, have a different way of looking at it or whatever. They're very well spoken, and they voice their opinion in a very reasonable manner that I can listen to, and that's how we exchange, man. That's where, you know, when you're yelling and name calling and all that stuff, people don't listen to you. But when you just give your message in a calm and thoughtful way, people listen, and sometimes we all change our minds. I was watching a good interview last night where, actually it was two interviews. Bananiac, I don't know if I say his name right, was interviewing Bite Size Vegan, and then in the same time she interviewed him on being vegan. And Bite Size Vegan, somebody else had recommended her to me a while back, and this was the first time I watched her, and I rather enjoy her approach. She's a passionate, ethical vegan, but to me she seems to have a rational way of putting this message out there. You know, it's a combination. She doesn't back off, and she's not like giving a watered down message, but she's not aggressive in your face all the time. So I really liked a lot of the things she had to say. I liked a lot of what Bananiac had to say. He was talking about how he got in, kind of like similar to me, he got into this more for the health. And I think from what he said, he made it pretty quickly became about the animals as well. Which, who knows, I don't want to get into the weird here, but maybe there's a certain karma about doing it for ethical reasons too. I was talking to a friend the other day and talking about, like, you know, just kind of being puzzled how people struggle, or they go back and they eat this and this after a while. And she was telling me, you know, almost kind of, I don't remember if that's exactly what they're saying, but it kind of insinuated that like I'm special or nothing. I'm like, no, I'm about the least special. That's always what I want my message to be. Is like, no, I wasn't somebody that was special that could do this. I was about the biggest loser when it comes to health that you can imagine, the way I was living. So I almost like to come from an aspect of if I can do this, anybody can do it. But yeah, but also too, I kind of threw this in when they were talking about it. Like, well, not too many people, because I told her, like, the first weekend, now I had done a transition and I was somewhat cleaner than people that just probably come straight from a standard American diet. But the very first weekend that I started watching videos on raw vegan, I went vegan. And now that kind of clicks in, because before I even knew, like, okay, well, I don't know about this raw vegan, we'll see how this works out, I'll dabble with it for a while, whatever. But somehow the message of vegan took over immediately. And maybe that just helps me, because maybe when you do make that choice for other reasons other than your own personal selfish ones, maybe you get a little extra help in the health department. Because that's the real, listen, day one, when I found out about veganism, there was no, I don't even know how to put it to people. It wasn't like I made a choice. It wasn't like I had willpower. It was just like from that first weekend, from watching the very first videos, from learning the very little first bit about veganism, from that moment on, I knew that I was never going to eat animal products again. Now, when I say never, okay, yes, there could always be something. I can't imagine what it would be that could happen, and life or death, or I'm laying on my deathbed, or I'm laying in a hospital unconscious and somebody pumps some animal products into me. But as a conscious decision, I knew from that moment that I wasn't going to use animal products anymore. And I think, if it had been just about the food or just about the health, I just very quickly, now I still have products that are probably leather. This belt is most likely leather, even though it's not a super expensive one. I'd have to check it. I have some shoes that, God, I haven't worn in ages, that I'm sure have some leather in them. But and I don't buy many clothes. I usually just buy, a 3 or 4 pack of Hanes t-shirts, or a 3 or 4 pack of the Hanes undershirts. I wear board shorts all the time where you don't have it, and I wear, flip-flops. So I haven't had a chance, I don't do a lot of shopping, but I pretty much, if I did have to go shopping for some new clothes, that'd be a tough one if I had to dress like nicely, because if I dressed nicely and needed a nice belt, some nice shoes, it would be interesting on what I have to find. But the point being is I'm vegan, like, that, wearing a leather belt, hell, even wearing a fur coat is not going to affect my health one way or the other. But that's not something I will do, because I know that the pain and suffering and torture is the same for the products we wear on our body as what we take into our body. Obviously, I'm a dude, so I'm not wearing, going to be wearing makeup, but if you're a female, I would definitely say, look into that, because that's some of the worst abuse out there, is the testing for makeup and the testing for products. I'm using all natural products in my hair, I'm using all natural soaps now, and I'm sure, I feel pretty comfortable. Dr. Bronner's is my main go-to. It's actually my only go-to for hair and soap. So I'm pretty sure Dr. Bronner's is ethical. There's no testing there. In fact, I think I saw a video on that just a couple of nights ago. And then the natural deodorant, natural toothpaste, I'm assuming, I'd have to look into that, but the companies, I'm pretty reasonable. But anyway, what I'd like to wrap up on this is, like, I can't even, it's funny how the vegan thing takes over. And yes, I think it is more, the ethical part of it becomes a passion. Some people want to, I'm not into the semantics of this whole thing. I mean, some of the vegans want to break it down into, well, you're not actually vegan if you don't, do 3 Hail Marys, spin around, do it like this. Well, veganism has one purpose, in my opinion, and one purpose only. And I don't care if you've been a vegan for 100 years and you're more advanced and you know all the philosophies. The whole point of veganism is to reduce and eventually end the killing of animals on this planet. So if a person over here is not taking the life of animals for their food, or if animals are not being killed for them to consume food, or in what they wear, God bless them. That's what we're looking for, is people that are not participating in the taking of animal lives. Any lives. We're all sentient beings. We all have an equal right to be on this planet. This isn't the planet of the humans, where we are just given license to rape and pillage, although it seems like that's pretty much what we do these days. But I guess in the end, and I've done a video on this one before, like, you know, people can get into their labels, whatever they want. Yes, I'll proudly call myself vegan. If anybody's got a problem with me calling myself vegan, well then they can call me what they want to. My other people's realities really have very little to do with my thought process. But so in the end, I just like to call it without another, I'll put another label on it. I practice ahimsa, do no harm. And I just try to practice ahimsa to the best of my ability and the best of my capabilities every day. Does anybody practice it perfectly in the Western world anyway? Probably not. You know, we probably ingest bugs every day, you know, sniffing one in, eating bugs ground up in food. So the best we can do is work on our intent for right now. And, you know, just do your vegan thing in your way. I'll do my vegan thing in my way. But if we can quit arguing amongst vegans and kind of unify as vegans, we can probably make a more significant impact on the planet than sitting around arguing over details all the time. Anyhow, just like to talk about my personal feelings on veganism from time to time outside the food. Hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and one more day to the weekend. Hang in there. Peace.